My name is Samira Obaid. I'm an alumna of USF and now work at USF World. I'm participating in the Stronger Than I Knew project to share my experience of being gay in India. Before I moved to the US in 2007, I spent 23 years living in India, which is where I'm originally from. Being gay in India is probably one of the most frightening, trying experiences that I've ever had, but at the same time, it is also one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever had because as an individual, I know I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for everything that I faced during my time spent there. What was probably the most difficult part about being in India and being gay, being different in India, more importantly, is the ability to not talk about it, not say anything about it, not speak about it with anybody, not with family, not with friends, not with people you think may understand, because it appears that they just don't exist. It's the most difficult part about the whole thing is staying silent and not even being able to get comfortable with your own identity because of the lack of conversation about it being okay. So the inability to take pride in who I was and stand up and say I am Sam and I am gay was probably the most difficult part of my experience. Now, it's one thing to be a private person and to consider it a personal part of yourself and not want to share it with anybody else. It's another thing to have to hide it and keep it secret and in the dark from everybody else simply because you're afraid you'll get bullied, you'll get beaten up, or you could even get legally persecuted for it to the extent that you might actually get the death sentence. So living in that fear consistently is what makes being gay in India such a frightful experience. Over that, I've been through the whole, simply because I was different visually, I've been through the whole process of being left out of pretty much everything when I was in high school, despite the fact that the people who were leaving me out of all of these things were my closest friends and were people that I had grown up with who'd seen me evolve as a person. Um, I'd also been beaten up by the cops on several occasions, and that was merely a reaction to the way that I looked, to my visual identity, my visual comfort level with the person that I am. And that in itself kind of made it very clear to me that it was in my best interest, in my safest interest, to stay in the closet if I actually wanted to live. The way that I got through all of that was one of the main reasons has to be my mom. My mom has always had great confidence in the person that I am and great confidence in the difference that I am and the difference that I can affect in this world, even though we never talk about my being gay. We never discuss it, but there is this personal understanding between the two of us that I am my own person and that she is completely all right with that. And that faith, that confidence, I think, is what gave me the ability to look beyond all those experiences and actually turn tables around and almost take on an educator role with that to have that kind of confidence where I looked at myself and said, well, I'm the one who's different. I'm the one who understands this whole experience. I can probably teach people why it's okay for me to be the way that I am and them to be completely comfortable with it. So when I moved to the US in 2007 to do my master's degree, um, I moved to the US in 2007 and then came to USF in 2008. I began observing people and understanding how they looked at me and why it was that they had this level of discomfort with me and what it was about me that troubled them. And I began looking to other avenues to help them understand what difference is and how difference can actually be effective and be in all essentiality, if that's even a word, a good thing. So I began doing spoken word. I started writing for theater. I started writing and producing my own plays talking about LGBT identities. And I started getting people to understand that dialogue is probably the easiest way to understand things that are completely unfamiliar to you and things that are not part of your usual environment. I try to encourage people, I still do, to ask questions about things that they don't understand, to find reasons for why things are the way they are, to do their research, to look forward and look through all of the stereotypical, surface level, superficial identities that we see and actually try to understand the people behind those identities. And this in itself and the work that I have done and the person that I am today and the fact that I can actually make this video lets me know today that I am stronger than I ever knew I could be. And I hope that helps somebody out there.